there, my little goldies, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, and welcome back to another episode of PencilMania. Look at these lovely pencils. So today's episode, we are going to be looking at the Arteza colored pencils. And so we're going to look at some swatches, and we're going to talk about how they work, and basically pretty much what you need to know about Arteza pencils. Okay, so I have, now I have mine in a pencil case right here, but they do come originally packed in a tin. I have the 72 set. Now you can get smaller sets. There is a 48 set, and I think they may have a 24 set and a 12 set. I am not sure. I've not seen any real small sets on Amazon, but they may have some on their website, on the Arteza website, and I think it's arteza.com or something like that. But I do know that you can get a smaller set of 48, that I do know for sure. But anyway, this is the 72 set, and it comes packaged in this tin. If you look on the bottom, here are the color names and a little representation of what the color looks like. So when you open up the tin, it comes packaged in these on these little trays and stuff. Now, obviously, I don't have any of the pencils in here because I took them out of here and put them in my case because I hate these little tins for pencils and stuff. So anyway, that's what the original Arteza tin looks like. Now, like I said, they are packaged in my case because that's where I have them at the moment. Okay, I'm going to put this aside. Whoops. I'm going to put the tin aside. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the pencil itself. Okay. So let's just take out one of the pencils. So here is what the pencil itself looks like. Here's what the pencil itself looks like. It feels like a very lighter weight pencil. It's not real heavy, so it's not going to feel like real heavy or substantial in your hand. It's not nearly as heavy as like a Prismacolor or a Polychromos or anything. These are definitely budget-friendly pencils. I think they were like 24 bucks, I think, on Amazon. I don't know if the price has gone up or down or not on them. I will link them in the description section of the video so that you can check them out if you want to. I am an Amazon affiliate, so anytime you purchase anything through any links that I provide in my videos, I get a small little commission back, which just goes back in to help support the channel. But you can find these in the description section of my video. You can just click on that link and it'll take you right to Amazon for these. So here is what the pencil looks like, as I said. What the pencil has on here is, it says Arteza. Oops. They are in these silver looking letters, okay? It says Arteza, and then if you kind of turn it around just a little bit, you will see that it has the pencil name and a number assigned to it. So what's nice about these pencils is it does have a color name plus a number on them. And some of the pencils are a little bit easier to read than others. Some of them are a little hard because of the way the letters kind of come on the different colors and stuff. So some of them are going to read a little bit easier, some of them not so easy. But they do have some pretty decent sized print on there, so you're not going to squint too badly to read the names on there. Maybe a little bit depending on what the name is, but it's all in all, it's pretty easy to read on the pencil. So let me show you some swatches of what these colors are going to look like. Before I do that, though, let me just go ahead and just kind of pan the camera over the different rows of pencils so you can see all the colors it comes with. Okay, and then here is the first row. So as you're going to be able to see, we do have a very nice array of colors. Let me grab my swatch chart for you. So here is the swatch chart that I did, and this is all 72 pencils on here. So as you can see, we have a really nice array of colors. We have a lot of greens, a lot of greens. So let me just go ahead and put the camera down just a little tiny bit so that we can see a little bit more. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, so as you're gonna see, we have a lot of greens. We have quite a few blues as well, quite a number of oranges, a few reds. We got a couple of pinks. So you do get a really nice array of colors. There's even some skin tones that you can do. Not too many, but they do have some skin tones. But you do get a really nice array of colors. There is a black in here, but the black isn't, you know, the blackest black or anything. You do get a white pencil that you can use to blend with. It doesn't really have a colorless blender. It does have that white, but there is no colorless blender in here. But here's all the colors that it comes with in the 72 set. Now, obviously in the 48 set, you're not going to get as many colors. This is what you get in the 72 set. So a really nice variety of colors. I think for a first set of pencils that you may want to get for coloring, I think you're not going to go wrong with this one. It's nice and budget friendly, and you do get a really nice array of colors. The only thing is they don't sell them open stock, not that I am aware of. So if you run out of a color, you're going to have to go and get a new set for these. It's the problem with a lot of the budget friendly pencils, because they are not sold open stock. So when something runs out, and if you really like that color, you're going to have to spend that money to get a whole new set for them, you know, to get that one color. But the nice thing is that you can actually get a new set as a backup, and you're not going to break the bank to do it. So let me talk about how these pencils lay down. Okay, let me go ahead and put my swatches away. But let me talk about how these pencils lay down and how they feel. Now, they are definitely a softer pencil. They're not as soft as Prismacolors. Now, of course, there's not going to be anything like a Prismacolor, because Prismacolors are very unique in that way. But aside from Prismacolors, these are very soft pencils. This is definitely a softer pencil. And so with the softer pencil, you're going to find that the point will not last as long, and so you're going to have to sharpen a lot more often, definitely more so than you would if you're using a harder leaded pencil. That's just the nature of the beast when you're dealing with a softer pencil. They blend very beautifully. Let me show you, in fact, I'll show you a picture that I colored with them that I have sitting right here. And we're actually going to do some Color and Gab today. Okay, so I did color a picture out of Tim Jeff's Intricate Ink Animals in Detail, Volume 1. I did color the cheetah in this book. Let me find it. Okay, so this is the picture in Tim Jeff's book that I colored with the Arteza pencils. I finished him up this morning. Today is Friday, April 13th, I think today is the 13th. So I did finish him up this morning, and I used just all Arteza pencils. Now, as far as like vibrancy and stuff, the color does go down very nicely, but it is not going to be as pigmented or as vibrant as a Prismacolor. You're just not going to get anything like a Prismacolor. If you're looking for a comparison to Prismacolor, it's not going to be as pigmented or as vibrant as a Prismacolor. It's soft, but it's not as soft as a Prismacolor. So, however, it acts a lot like a Prismacolor, which I will show you. Which we're actually going to keep talking about. So that's a picture that I did with the Artezas in that book. So what we're going to go ahead and work on today is a picture in Designer Desserts by Creative Haven. And I went ahead and started a picture in here because I wanted to see how it was going to act on this Creative Haven paper. And Prismacolors love this Creative Haven paper. Prismacolors were great on this Creative Haven paper, and so do the Artezas. So you're going to find that when you use an Arteza pencil, it's going to behave quite a bit like a Prismacolor pencil. At least it does for me. It's soft. It's not as soft as a Prismacolor. You know, let's get that straight. Again, it's not going to be as soft as a Prismacolor, and it's not going to be as vibrant or pigmented as a Prismacolor. But in a lot of ways, it's going to behave very similar to a Prismacolor because of the softness and, you know, the way it lays down and stuff. So what I found is that they work really great on this Creative Haven paper. It worked really nicely on the Tim Jeff's paper. However, these Arteza pencils are not going to be touching Create Space paper because like Prismacolor, that Create Space paper is going to eat up your Prismacolors, and it's going to do much the same to your Artezas. So in my opinion, Artezas are not a good choice to be using on Create Space paper. However, on Creative Haven paper, you know, paper used in Creative Haven books, it works brilliantly, okay? So things that I love about the pencil is that they are soft. It blends very beautifully. As we can see, it shaded very nicely. It blended very nicely. let's actually go ahead and get some coloring started while I talk more about the pencil. So I'm gonna work on this cake while we talk about these pencils. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my blue colors that I've been using to color. So just one thing that I wanted to say too is I am coloring with the visual impairment, so just keep in mind that I have to get close to my work so that I can see what I am doing. I say that on every video, but for those of you that are new to the channel, I just wanted to go ahead and clear that up. So I try to keep my big head out of the way as much as possible, but sometimes it is going to get stuck in there. So apologies for that, but it cannot be helped. I try to keep it out of the way as much as I can, but it's just what I have to deal with. So let me zoom in just a little bit and we'll do a little bit of coloring, okay? So I started working on this cake this morning while I was on the phone talking with Stephanie, because she called me this morning after I finished up my Tim Jeff's picture. And so we were yakking and I was coloring. So let's go ahead and talk about how these pencils behave, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and work on this cake over here. So how these pencils behave, they remind me a lot of Prismacolors because they are soft and they do lay down very, very nicely. You don't really have to press all that hard. I'm using like medium pressure on this darker color here right now just to kind of get on the edges here because I want this color to be darker right here. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. So to get as much color out as like say you would a Prismacolor, you do have to press a little bit harder, but you still don't have to press all that hard. Like you can go really lightly over this and you'll still get some nice color out of it, okay? Which I'm going to show you in just a minute. Right now I'm using some medium pressure, but it will act very, very much like a Prismacolor. You're just not going to get as much vibrancy or pigmentation from these as you would a Prismacolor. And it is a little harder. It is definitely a harder pencil than a Prismacolor, but still it is a soft pencil. So if you like soft pencils, if you are plagued by stuff like arthritis or tendonitis or something like that, or if you have wrist pain, these are a really great pencil to have. It's a great alternative to Prismacolors, like if you cannot afford Prismacolors, because Prismacolors are a little bit more expensive. But if you need something budget friendly that behaves very similar to a Prismacolor, these pencils are it. And I like that it has the name and the number on the pencils, but as you can see, it blends so beautifully. There's basically really no effort to get it to blend and shade. They layer nicely. You don't have to press down and kill your wrist on them. What I don't like, there's several things that I think could be a little nicer, is I wish we had more colors. You know, this is only a 72 set. However, it's a great starter set for somebody that's interested in wanting to start coloring and you don't want to break the bank. Like if you want just a nice sort of budget-friendly pencil with a nice array of colors, this is a great set to consider for that purpose. I love that the names and numbers are on the pencils. The open stock option is not there though. That's one thing that turns a lot of people off, but that's to be expected with budget-friendly pencils. You don't really get open stock options with budget-friendly pencils. It's just the way it is. But if you want to get yourself a backup set for when some of your pencils are running low, you can definitely do that without spending too much money on them. But if you run out of one color and you just want that one color, you're going to have to buy that whole set to get your color that you want, which can be frustrating. So all in all, I really love these pencils. I would give them probably a 9 out of 10. Mainly they get the 9 because I wish we had more colors. I would love like a 150 set of these. I would love a 150 set of these pencils. I think they have really pretty colors. And I think, you know, all in all, they're great pencils. I like them a lot. I really, really like them a lot. And I would recommend them, especially for somebody that's starting out in coloring and you don't know what you're gonna like. If you want to try a softer pencil, because like if you look at softer pencils, most of them are going to be quite expensive. You're not going to find a whole lot of a soft pencil for, you know, a budget-friendly price, but these definitely are that. These are nice and soft. And I haven't had any issues with them breaking. I really haven't. I've not had any of them break on me. They work in my Tagal sharpener very nicely. However, like I said, with the softer pencil, you are going to be sharpening more often. You are going to be sharpening more often with a softer pencil. It's just the nature of the game. The pencils are the same color on the barrel as what the lead is. The barrel is a nice representation of what the color is. Some of them I think are off, you know, like as far as that goes. Like sometimes you're not going to find 100% accuracy between the barrel and the color of the lead, but they come pretty darn close. But still, with any pencil, with any set of pencils, it is a good idea to do a swatch. It is a good idea to do a swatch. I think I'm going to come up in the bigger areas and do that, but I'm going to get this done first. I'll get the little springy spiral first. And I'm pushing hard on the edge here just to kind of get that darker color now, but I'm still not pressing very hard at all. Like, you don't really have to press very hard at all to get a nice lay down. On this Creative Haven paper, on the Creative Haven books, you know, the books by Creative Haven, they color beautifully. They really do. They color beautifully on this paper. On Create Space paper, no. In my opinion, Create Space paper will eat these pencils up alive like they would a Prismacolor. So, for Create Space paper, I would recommend finding another alternative, because you will be disappointed with these on Create Space paper, I think. In my opinion. In my very humble opinion. To me, pencils that work better on Create Space paper would be like Lyra Rembrandts, Polychromos, because they are a little bit harder. And good old Crayolas work very nicely on Create Space paper. But Artezas, in my opinion, you shouldn't use them on Create Space paper, in my opinion. I mean, you know, it's your pencil. If you have these and you have Create Space paper, and if you want to try them out on Create Space paper, I mean, it's your supplies, it's your books, go ahead and do it. But in my opinion, I don't think it would be a very good experience. And I'm not putting my Artezas through that. I am not putting my Artezas through that. So, alright, so I'm going to come up here to the bigger areas, and we're going to do some stuff up here with the bigger areas with these pencils. Okay, I think I'm going to alternate every other one. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to flip the book just a little bit so we can see. So, do I like these pencils? Oh, yes, I do. I really do. I like the color selection. Like I said, I just wish we had more colors to them. I would love a whole 150 set of these things. I really would. I think that would be awesome. But for starting out and for adding to your collection, this is a great set to have, and I like them a lot. I would actually travel with these over my Prismacolors. Like, I wouldn't mind taking these like on an overnight trip or something like that. These would definitely be an alternative to Prismas for when you feasibly can't use your Prismas, or if you want to save your, like if you want to not go through your Prismas as fast. These are a great alternative for that. And as you can see, it layers very nicely. It layers very nicely. And it blends very nicely and shades. It erases nicely if you need to, if you make a mistake, and I'll show you that in just a minute. I'll show you that in just a sec. Okay, so I've got a piece of cardstock behind my picture, but let me just show you. We'll be able to see how, you saw how great it blends, but let me just show you again. This is just some cardstock that I'm working with. And it's a little toothy, so we're going to be seeing some white space in there, but I'm not worried about it for the demonstration purposes. So I'll go over it like this. But as we're going to see, it blends out very nicely. See, it blends together really good. Very, very good. So let's say we need to, like we make a mistake and we need to erase something. We'll do a lighter layer here. And then I'm going to vary the pressure to make it harder or to make it darker. And then I'm going to go really hard right here. So hard, medium pressure, and then light pressure here. So if I were to take my Derwent eraser, let's take the Derwent eraser and let's go over it like that. See, it erases the light very well. Here is the medium. It erases that very well. You're still going to see color on there, but if you do a couple more passes on it, you're going to be able to take most of it up. And then here it is on the darker one here. So it doesn't take off all the color, especially when you have hard pressure, like when you're pressing harder. It doesn't take away all the color, but it takes most of it off. So you'll be able to take most of that off there. Now, like I always said, it is easier to add color than it is to take color away. And with all pencils, the harder you press, the harder it is to erase everything. But it does take up most of the eraser does take up most of that color. So you can erase it if you need to. Okay, we'll color a couple more of these things here. Okay, we'll color a couple more of these things here. I'm going to turn the book so that I can see a little bit more and hopefully be able to see me put down the color. So I'm going to go kind of light with the color, and then I'll come back in and I'll layer some more. But we'll go with this color, and then we'll lay down a layer of the lighter color to blend it together, and then we'll just keep going with it. Like so. So see, I'm just going like really light over it now, and you see that you do get a really nice lay down of color. Which means that you can actually shade with one pencil should you need to do that. Okay, I'm just going real light over this. But as you can see, it blends really beautifully without much effort at all. And I'm going to add just a couple more layers to it. And actually I got out of the line with that. Let me go over this. Okay. Oh, and I did the same thing Okay, I'm gonna try to get a sharper point on this one pencil because the closer I get to that line, the more it wants to come out of there. All right. Well, it's not perfect, but it's better. Now I'm just going to go over this with a couple more layers and we'll blend it together again. But I am not pressing very hard at all. These pencils do a beautiful job of laying down this color. They really do. Okay. So what to say? Would I recommend these pencils? Absolutely. This is a great addition to have to any coloring collection. But they are great for somebody starting out. As I've said, they're great for somebody first starting out. The price is right, and you get a nice array of colors, and they do a beautiful job of laying down the color. Plus, I love the fact that they have the names and the numbers on the pencils. Especially the names. I love it when a pencil has the names on it. And that it's okay, and that it's easy enough to read. And trust me, like if it's easy enough for me to read, it's great, because with my bad eyesight, it can get really hard for me to read names and numbers on a pencil. So if I find it easy enough to read, then you know it's got to be pretty good. As far as readability for, you know, for names and numbers. Because, like, I know we love names and numbers on the pencils, but if it's so small and hard to read that we have to squint or, you know, put it under a microscope to read, you know, what's the point? But these, I have to say, they've done a great job of putting the names and numbers on them to make it easy for us to read. So then I can take, now just to kind of show you a couple of other colors. I've used these colors on the spirals. And so I thought that it would be pretty cool to have these colors kind of alternating on the stripes going here. So we'll take the darker color and we'll come on the second stripe. And we'll see how these colors lay down. And excuse my head getting in the way, but I had to try to get in that one little tiny area there. So I'm just taking the darker color and kind of doing a medium pressure, like on the edge here, on the end of the stripes. And then I'm going to lighten up as I kind of go toward the middle to make it a little bit lighter and to make it easier for the other pencil to blend in with it. So I'm lightening up my pressure, which then gives us a really nice color gradient right there by lightening up on the pressure of that pencil. And then I'm going to take the pink one and I'm just going to go real lightly down this stripe here. And then I'm going to take it and we're going to blend it out like that. But you see how beautifully it blends into, the colors blend into each other. And it does really great for layering. Like I said, it does an awesome job at layering. You get a beautiful color lay down with these. Like I said, I've not had any issues with them breaking on me. I've not had any issues with them in my sharpeners. They sharpen up nicely. No breakage issues for me anyway. As far as I'm concerned, no breakage issues for me. Some of the colors in here, like there may be a couple of them that are a little bit similar to each other. Like you may get some similar greens or some similar blues, but you know, for the most part, you do get some varying, you do get some really nice varying shades of a lot of different colors, which makes it nice. Okay. And I can even take and I'm going to add just a little bit more pressure on the dark area here, just to kind of give us a little bit of difference. But as you can see, we're not really seeing a whole lot of white space in here. I've not tried to blend this with Gamsol oil, but I would imagine that it would blend very, very beautifully with Gamsol, because it blends beautifully with each other. Like the pencils themselves will, like you'll be able to get it. What I'm saying is you'll be able to get it to blend very nicely without it, actually. But I'm sure with it, it'll blend great. So I don't think you're going to have any problems with like Gamsol or odorless mineral spirits with it. See, not much effort at all to make it blend. I really love these pencils. Now, because it is a softer pencil, it's not going to react as favorably on other paper. The paper that you would expect them to react on with, like, okay, how do I put this? The paper that Prismacolors would react very well on would be paper that these would act very well on too, because it does behave very similar to Prismacolors, in my opinion. And so if you find something that Prismacolors are very favorable to, that they love, chances are that these Artezas are going to love the same thing as the Prismacolors do. You just are not going to get as vibrant of colors or pigmentation out of these pencils that you would a Prismacolor. And if you like we can compare. I can do another video where we actually compare different pencils to each other instead of just like spotlighting just one pencil on a video. I mean, we'll still do the PencilMania things where we spotlight like one brand of pencil in the video, but if you like, I can make another video where we actually compare different pencils to other pencils. We can compare different pencils and check for stuff like vibrancy and laydown and so forth, and blendability and all that stuff. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know, and I will think about how to go about doing that. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think? I like this book. I think this has to be one of my favorite books. The only thing is, you know, coloring these designs, it makes me hungry, and it makes me want to have like chocolate. It makes me want some chocolate when I color out of this book. Although I make the cakes and stuff different colors, but it still makes me want to have chocolate when I color in this book. Okay. This is a big stripe, so we'll definitely see the blendability in place here. Now I am going to press just a little bit harder just on the very ends of the stripes here. Just to give us that contrast. And I got out of the line just a tad on here. Okay. Sometimes, like when I run the eraser over it, I don't turn it on. Like if I'm going like really close to the line, I should get that one itty bitty Faber-Castell eraser and bring that over here and erase over here, because I think it's a finer eraser and it would get like where you just, it would get in there into those small, like right on top of that line better than the Derwent one would. Okay, I'm just going to go over the stripes a little bit more with the darker color, and then we'll put the lighter color down and we'll blend it together. Okay. Okay. Okay, now let's take the lighter pink and we'll lay it down. So again, I'm just going to go over it, and you see how beautifully it's blending out. You see how nicely it is getting rid of the harsh lines right there. Okay, so as you can see, it is doing a fabulous job on here. So again, I can just go over those harsh lines right there, and it will soften those up. See? So as we can see, this does a marvelous, marvelous job. I think I pressed down a little bit too hard. There's still a little bit of a harsh line right there. I might have to work on that a little bit. See, I pressed a little bit too hard right there. So, as they say, it's best to go lightly and then work your way up, because I pressed a little bit too hard right there. And now I'm getting sloppy. Now I am getting sloppy. Okay. But as we can see, you know, it does a beautiful job here. Okay. Let's do one more stripe with the blue. And I think we will call it a day after we do the blue here. So we'll grab these blue shades. And I'm going to get it started. And I'm going to go lightly over the end, or I'm going to go medium pressure to heavy over the ends here. And then I'm going to just lighten up the pressure, you know, to give us that nice color gradient with this one pencil here. And then it'll make it much easier for the lighter pencil to blend over it. And I think that's a pretty effect. So again, medium to heavy pressure right here on the edges of the stripes. And then I'm going to lighten up the pencil to give us a nice gradient of color. Like so. I hope everybody can see that. And then we're going to take the lighter pencil, and I'm just going to go real lightly over this at first, and then I'll come back in with some layers. And then we'll get it to blend out. But as I said, as you can see, this does a terrific job of blending together. Now I'm just going to add a couple more layers with the darker pencil. Sometimes you just got to be patient with this because you do get really good results if you layer it. Just like so. And then there we go. So what do you guys think? Now if you find that you do have some white space in there, like some white show through in there that you don't want, you can keep layering. Or you can take some Gamsol oil and odorless mineral spirits and go over it and blend it that way if you like. Or you can use a Prismacolor blenderless marker if you so choose, if that is your bag. But I like to try to blend with the pencils themselves if I can. Okay. So here is what our cake looks like so far using the Arteza pencils, and as you can see, we got really nice blends down here, like in the spirals and up here in the stripes and stuff. I really like how these pencils work. Would I recommend them? Most definitely. This is a great addition to any coloring collection for those of you that like pencils. Also, this would be a great gift for someone who is just starting out in coloring too, because you do get a really great amount of colors, although I would love a 150 set of these, I really would. But for someone starting out, 72 I think is plenty of colors to choose from, especially because you do get a really nice array of different shades. And it's really easy to work with. I mean, these pencils are super easy to work with. You don't have to keep pressing and killing your hands or anything like that. They're very soft and smooth, and they're just a joy to work with. They have the names and the colors of the pencil on the actual pencil itself. The barrel of the pencil represents the lead that is in the pencil. So the only thing I really don't like is that they don't have them open stock, and that I want 150 set of these. They need more colors, definitely. But they are extremely wonderful pencils, especially for the price that you pay for them. So yeah, that concludes the review and look of the Arteza pencils. 72 set of color pencils from Arteza. And this concludes our PencilMania episode. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of PencilMania. So if you did, go ahead and hit that like button. By hitting that like button, it really helps the channel. And the more likes I get on the videos, it helps it helps to get more ratings on YouTube and stuff. Leave a comment and tell me what you think, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, but better yet, hit that bell so you can be notified when new videos are uploaded. You all have a great day, and we will see you in the next video. Okay, bye my little goldies!